In the vast silence of the cosmos, Buddhism presents a concept of time that differs greatly from conventional thinking. Time, according to the Buddha's teachings, has neither a beginning nor an end. Instead of the linear flow that we often imagine, time in Buddhism is an infinite cycle, where all phenomena continuously revolve. People often ask, where did this world begin? When did life originate? But the Buddha advised that it is unnecessary to focus on such questions. He likened it to a person struck by a poisoned arrow. The most important task is not to find out the origin of the arrow or the identity of the shooter, but to remove the arrow and heal the wound. Similarly, rather than seeking the origins of the universe, Buddhists are encouraged to concentrate on ending suffering and attaining liberation. To describe the vastness of time, the Buddha used a striking analogy. He said, imagine a massive mountain, 1 yojana, approximately 16 kilometers, high and wide, made of solid rock. If once every 100 years, a person were to brush the mountain with a fine silk cloth, the time it would take to wear down the entire mountain is still shorter than a kalpa, an eon. This imagery not only emphasizes the immensity of time but also serves as a reminder of the impermanence of all things. According to Buddhist teachings, the universe undergoes continuous cycles of expansion and contraction. When the universe contracts, physical worlds dissolve, and beings are reborn in more refined realms, such as the Abhasara heavens, where they exist as pure light and spirit. These beings live in bliss, without the need for material sustenance, and their bodies shine like lanterns in the night sky. However, as the universe expands again, the material world is reformed, and beings from the Abhasara heavens begin to appear in this new world. This process is not merely a physical phenomenon but also a spiritual evolution. The beings undergo changes in both body and soul, adapting to the new environment and facing the challenges of material existence. A critical aspect of this evolutionary cycle is the influence of karma. In each phase of the universe's cycle, the karma of beings plays a decisive role in determining where and in what circumstances they are born. Every action, thought, and word leaves an imprint on the flow of karma, shaping the future experiences of individuals in the endless cycle of rebirth. Buddhism views the universe not merely as a physical phenomenon but also through a spiritual lens. The evolution of the universe parallels the evolution of consciousness. With each contraction and expansion of the universe, beings experience corresponding changes in awareness and perception. This highlights the importance of practicing to liberate oneself from the cycle of birth and death. Buddhists are encouraged to deeply contemplate the nature of reality, realizing that everything is impermanent and nothing is unchanging. Through this understanding, one can free themselves from the bonds of karma and reach nirvana, a state of absolute peace and the cessation of suffering. The narrative of the universe's cycles is not only a lesson about time and space but also a reminder of the necessity of seeking truth and enlightenment. Buddhism teaches that truth is not found in what we can measure or quantify but in profound understanding of the nature of mind and reality. We are encouraged to continually explore and cultivate ourselves to transcend the limitations of ordinary perception. Only then can we truly grasp the meaning of life and our place within the eternal cycle of the universe. The story of the mysteries of the universe in Buddhism not only offers a unique perspective on time and space but also imparts profound lessons about life and existence. By understanding that time is infinite and everything is in constant flux, we can let go of attachments and lead a more meaningful life. Through understanding the evolutionary cycles of the universe, we recognize that each person's life is a small part of the endless flow of existence. This encourages us to live responsibly, aware that all our actions have long-term effects. Buddhism is not merely a religion but a path to enlightenment and liberation. By practicing these teachings, we can transcend the sufferings of life and achieve eternal peace. In the early days of the universe, when humans were not yet bound by the limitations of physical form and material existence, they lived simple yet blissful lives. At that time, humans were not entities with fixed shapes as we are today. They were ethereal beings, self-luminous, needing neither food nor drink, but sustaining themselves through inner joy and the purity of their souls. The image of self-luminous beings symbolizes purity and souls untainted by desires and cravings. This self-emanating light was not merely physical illumination but also the light of wisdom and compassion. In this state, humans lived in harmony with the universe, without distinctions between self and others, subject and object. All were one, embraced in a realm of peace and tranquility. However, like all things in life, this state did not last forever. Curiosity, an intrinsic part of human nature, began to stir. Even while dwelling in bliss, humans started to question the world around them. This curiosity led them to new experiences and the discovery of unknown aspects of existence. One day, driven by boundless curiosity, these beings decided to taste the flavors of the material world. Initially, it was a small act, a mere experiment without malicious intent. Yet, this seemingly insignificant act brought profound changes to their nature. Upon tasting these earthly flavors, they began to experience the pleasures derived from the material world, new, yet compelling sensations. From that moment, their inner light began to fade. The reliance on spiritual joy was supplanted by the pursuit of external pleasures. The purity of their souls became obscured by desires and cravings. This marked the first decline in human evolution, transforming from purely spiritual beings into entities ensnared by the material world. This transformation affected not only their spiritual state but also their physical form. As their inner light dimmed, they started noticing physical differences among themselves. From this point, pride and comparison emerged. Beings who once lived harmoniously without distinction now began to take pride in their appearance, giving rise to arrogance. Gradually, the physical changes became more pronounced. Humans developed distinct physical traits, not only in appearance but also in gender. The differentiation of gender was a pivotal moment in human evolution, marking the onset of reproduction. Previously, reproduction was unnecessary for the continuation of the species. But with the physical and psychological changes, reproduction became essential. This development not only tied them more firmly to the material world but also brought forth complex emotions and relationships, including love, jealousy, greed, and desire. The development of gender and reproductive abilities was a significant milestone in human evolution. It altered their self-perception and introduced new societal bonds. Family relationships, romantic love, and responsibilities towards offspring emerged, leading to a more complex social structure. From beings who thrived on inner light and spiritual joy, humans transformed into entities bound by the material world. They no longer lived in the freedom and purity of earlier times but faced the challenges of material existence, basic needs for sustenance, survival, and intricate social relationships. This transformation brought both benefits and burdens. On the one hand, it allowed humans to develop and adapt to their new environment, fostering intellectual and societal advancements. On the other hand, it subjected them to various forms of suffering and hardship. The attachment to the material world robbed them of inner freedom, leaving them vulnerable to worries, fears, and the pressures of life. The story of human transformation from self-luminous beings to material entities is a profound lesson on the nature of life and change. It reminds us that, regardless of our circumstances, humans possess the capacity to evolve and adapt. Simultaneously, the narrative cautions against the allure of the material world and encourages us to strive to reconnect with our pure spiritual essence. Buddhism teaches that to escape the bonds of the material world, one must cultivate wisdom and practice diligently. Only by recognizing the true nature of life and overcoming desires and cravings can we rediscover inner peace and purity, akin to the self-luminous beings of the earliest days. As humans began to develop distinct physical forms and gradually became attached to the material world, the need to live together and support one another emerged. Initially, individuals lived freely, each seeking their own food and shelter. However, over time, they realized that living in isolation could not provide safety and stability. With this understanding, humans began to gather into small communities, where individuals could share resources and protect one another from natural threats or conflicts with others. The formation of these communities marked a significant milestone in human development. Communities not only provided physical safety but also served as environments where humans could learn, communicate, and develop social skills. Language, initially simple symbols or basic sounds, began to evolve. As the need for communication grew, humans sought more effective ways to convey information. Gradually, language became more complex, with the emergence of diverse vocabulary and grammatical structures. Language facilitated the sharing of ideas and fostered unity within the community, promoting cooperation and mutual understanding. As communities grew larger, the need for social organization arose. Initially, relationships within the community were simple, based on trust and mutual support. However, as property, territory, and individual interests became important, disputes began to surface. Members of the community no longer focused solely on survival but also on protecting and increasing their assets. These disputes necessitated intervention to maintain order and fairness. Thus, leaders emerged. Initially, they might have been the strongest or wisest individuals in the community, trusted to resolve conflicts and guide the group. Over time, the role of these leaders became more formalized, with specific powers and responsibilities. A legal system also began to take shape. At first, laws might have been simple rules based on customs and traditions. But as society grew more complex, laws had to evolve to address new situations. Laws not only helped resolve disputes but also guided the behavior of community members, ensuring that everyone lived and worked in harmony and order. The birth of social organization led to the division of roles, responsibilities, and status. In a community, not everyone could do everything. Thus, specific roles emerged, from hunters and gatherers to those managing household tasks or caring for children. Each role had its value and contributed to the overall development of the community. However, this division also brought unintended consequences. When some roles were deemed more important, or when certain individuals accumulated more wealth and power, inequality began to surface. Those with more power started controlling resources and decisions within the community, while others became dependent or disadvantaged. This social stratification could lead to conflict and dissatisfaction, but it also drove societal development. It motivated individuals to strive for improvement, enhance themselves, and contribute more to the community. However, if not managed properly, inequality could become a source of conflict and instability within society. Despite the challenges and complexities of forming human society, it laid the foundation for human progress and development. Communities and social organization enabled humans to not only survive but also grow, learn, and advance. Values such as solidarity, cooperation, and social responsibility were formed and strengthened within the community. From a Buddhist perspective, the formation of human society is part of the evolutionary process and karmic consequences. Relationships, conflicts, and cooperation in society are opportunities for individuals to learn, practice, and perfect themselves. Buddhism encourages living in the community with compassion, understanding, and responsibility, while being mindful of desires and cravings that could harm social harmony. The formation of human society is a complex yet meaningful process. It represents not only material evolution but also spiritual and social development. Early communities, language, social organization, and legal systems were significant milestones in humanity's journey. Through this, we realize that life is not just about the individual but also about the community. The existence and growth of each person depend on social cohesion and cooperation. At the same time, each individual has a responsibility to contribute to collective development, maintaining harmony and justice within the community. Buddhism teaches that to live harmoniously in society, we must cultivate our minds, develop compassion and wisdom. Only by understanding the true nature of life and transcending desires can we live peacefully and contribute to building a better society. Throughout the flow of time, the mysteries of the universe's formation and development have always been subjects of deep contemplation and study. Modern scientists have proposed theories such as the Big Bang and the Big Crunch to explain the origins and cycles of the universe. When analyzed deeply, these theories reveal remarkable parallels with Buddhist philosophy regarding the workings of the universe. According to the Big Bang theory, the universe began from an extremely small, extraordinarily hot point, which then exploded and expanded into the vast space we observe today. Buddhism, from ancient times, has spoken of the world's beginnings in continuous cycles. There is no absolute starting point. All phenomena exist within the cycle of birth, existence, destruction, and rebirth. Conversely, the Big Crunch theory posits that the universe will gradually contract, with everything being drawn back to a single point, possibly leading to another explosion and a new cycle. Buddhist philosophy similarly emphasizes the impermanent nature of all things, stating that everything goes through stages of formation, duration, decline, and cessation. These cycles are not endings but transitions, heralding new cycles and new lives. The parallels between science and Buddhist philosophy extend beyond the description of the universe's cycles to a shared emphasis on impermanence and the interconnectedness of all phenomena. Buddhism teaches that everything is interconnected within a complex web of causes and conditions, with nothing existing independently. Modern science, through theories of cosmic expansion and contraction, also approaches this concept by viewing all phenomena as the results of intricate interactions across space and time. Buddhism delves not only into the workings of the universe but also into the essence of evolution, encompassing both biological and spiritual dimensions. The evolution discussed in Buddhism is not merely physical transformation but also the development of consciousness, where every action and thought plays a crucial role in shaping life and the surrounding world. While modern science focuses on biological evolution, from single-celled organisms to humans, Buddhism perceives all physical changes as originating from changes in consciousness. It is the mind that is the root of all transformations. Buddhism posits that karma, accumulated actions and thoughts over many lifetimes, is the driving force of evolution. Every action, thought, and word leaves an imprint on the consciousness, creating karmic forces that determine the forms of existence in subsequent lives. Evolution, therefore, is not just an external transformation but also the maturation of consciousness. A mind dominated by desire, anger, and ignorance leads to forms of existence filled with suffering and unrest. Conversely, a mind imbued with peace, wisdom, and compassion fosters favorable conditions for both physical and spiritual growth. Buddhism emphasizes that evolution is not merely the result of random changes or natural biological processes but a spiritual journey where each individual has the capacity to transform and direct their life through cultivation and mental transformation. This perspective underscores why Buddhism does not view evolution as a linear process but as an endless cycle of rebirth, where each lifetime offers opportunities to learn, amend, and evolve. Science and Buddhism, though originating from distinct realms, one exploring the material world and the other the inner world, both guide humanity toward profound insights into the nature of life and the universe. The parallels between science and Buddhist philosophy are not coincidental but indicative that truth can be discovered through various paths. Science aids in understanding the structure and mechanisms of the material world, while Buddhism explores the nature of consciousness and the interrelation of mind and matter. The integration of these fields offers a more comprehensive view of the universe, where natural laws and spiritual principles intertwine and support one another. Buddhism encourages continuous exploration and understanding of both the external world and the internal self. Scientific knowledge can help us live harmoniously with nature and utilize resources sustainably. Simultaneously, spiritual practice and development guide us to live meaningful lives, with compassion and wisdom. This chapter is not merely an exploration of the parallels between science and Buddhist philosophy but also a reminder of the importance of maintaining a balance between exploring the material world and nurturing spiritual growth. Human evolution relies not only on scientific and technological advancements, but also on the ability to transform and develop consciousness. Buddhism teaches that sustainable development can only be achieved when people comprehend the impermanent nature of all phenomena, living with peaceful minds and compassion. The convergence of science and spirituality offers a holistic view of life, enabling us to live harmoniously and thrive in both material and spiritual realms. In the endless flow of samsara, human life is regarded in Buddhism as an exceedingly rare and precious opportunity. The image of a blind turtle surfacing amidst the vast ocean, finding a floating ring, is a profound metaphor used by the Buddha to illustrate the difficulty of obtaining a human form. Amidst countless beings adrift in the ocean of samsara, being born as a human, with the intelligence and opportunity to practice the Dharma, is an immense blessing. The human form is not merely a mode of existence but a vessel enabling us to access the Dharma, practice it, and strive for liberation. Among the myriad realms from hells and hungry ghosts to the heavenly realms, only the human realm possesses the unique conditions conducive to developing wisdom and compassion. The heavenly realms, though filled with bliss, lack awareness of life's impermanent nature, while the suffering realms are so overwhelmed by misery that practice becomes nearly impossible. With the human form, we have the capacity for awareness, contemplation, and practice in accordance with the Dharma. This creates optimal conditions for cultivating the mind, overcoming the fetters of greed, hatred, and delusion, and progressing toward enlightenment. Buddhism emphasizes that human life is not merely a series of days passing by but a journey of inner exploration and development, aiming for the ultimate goal of ending suffering and attaining nirvana. Recognizing the immense value of human life compels us to live with greater mindfulness regarding our actions, words, and thoughts. Buddhism teaches that every action, no matter how small, leaves an imprint on the continuum of karma, influencing both our present and future lives. Therefore, living mindfully, reducing attachment, and fostering compassion are the cornerstones of a meaningful life. The impermanence of all things, from the body, possessions, relationships, to life itself, is a lesson each person must deeply understand. By realizing that everything is transient, we lessen our attachment to external things and instead focus on cultivating the mind, living with compassion and wisdom. In daily life, each action carries profound meaning when performed with mindfulness. From eating, working, to interacting with others, every moment becomes an opportunity to practice the Dharma. This not only leads to a peaceful life but also contributes to building a harmonious society where people live with love and understanding. Buddhism encourages applying principles of impermanence, dependent origination, and karma in practical life. Through this, we can alleviate suffering, conflict, and anxiety, replacing them with a life rich in meaning and peace. Living with compassion and wisdom not only brings personal serenity but also spreads positive values to those around us. Human life is not merely about survival but also a quest for truth and liberation. Buddhism urges each individual to look deeply into the essence of life, realizing that true happiness does not lie in external successes or failures but in inner peace and enlightenment. In the quest for truth, morality and wisdom are indispensable. Morality enables one to live an upright life, causing no harm to others or the environment. Wisdom helps us perceive the true nature of all things, freeing us from illusions and restlessness. The combination of morality and wisdom shapes a meaningful life, helping individuals overcome the barriers of suffering and find liberation. Buddhism teaches that all suffering originates from ignorance and attachment. When wisdom unfolds, we see clearly that all we cling to, fame, power, relationships, are sources of suffering. The ultimate goal of human life, according to Buddhism, is liberation from the cycle of birth and death. This is not a cessation of existence but the cessation of suffering, achieving the state of nirvana, where there is no attachment or affliction. The journey to liberation is a long process, requiring continuous effort in cultivating the mind. From clearly understanding the impermanent nature of all things, living a moral life, to developing wisdom and compassion, each step prepares us for a peaceful and liberated existence. Human life, with all its difficulties and challenges, is an opportunity to practice and evolve the mind. Through human existence, we can understand the Dharma, follow the path of the Buddha, and aim for liberation. This is the profound meaning of life, the guiding light for every sentient being in the quest for truth and peace.